Welcome back, everyone, to the vlog. This is LukeRing. I am a writer, director, and director of photography. I am a 20-year-old filmmaker based out of Michigan and Chicago, and this is some behind-the-scenes kind of breakdown. Just going through, I vlog my filmmaking career, and this is Sorrow's Grave. This is a sequel to A Vendetta's Debt, and yeah, a sequel for a short film. You didn't hear me wrong. I made a sequel to a short film. That is not a good idea. Maybe it's interesting that no one does it, but I don't think people do it. They don't do it for a reason. You shouldn't do that. We are today shooting a scene. This is supposed to be like a clubhouse. This is shot on a Canon R6 Mark II. This is the first time I'm using this camera for a shoot. We're using Sony UDP wireless mics, and those are fantastic, by the way. That was one of the best things I could have gotten. That is cream soda, not actual beer. Yes, we are young, so we're not drinking underage. We are staying true to the legal system. Those LED lights are newer LED lights, not newer, but the brand newer. And the lighting here is one of the biggest issues. This Sorrow's Grave is the worst film I've ever made. Out of the 5 short films that I've made. And this is all last year. We came off the fresh of A Vendetta's Debt, and I was like, you know what? I just want to shoot another film. And that was not the right idea. Look at me right now moving these lights around. Oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was doing here. I was just moving the light where I thought it looked good, which you can get away with. But for me, and for actual lighting, you're supposed to use, if it's practical light or wherever it's coming from, it should be coming from the same spot. That is just something that you learn with time, and that is something that I just didn't do. So this scene, they're at the poker table, and if you've seen A Vendetta's Debt, or you've seen my other vlogs, it was this, at least I have a lot more experience coming in here, had a lot better gear. Using this camera was an absolute game changer. At this time, this is the best looking film compared to the other two, just because the camera is so much nicer. I learned about color grading, and like that.
Serious? It's like you want me to win. Thank you.
So how'd you know Reggie was gonna be there that night?
Me?
That's good. I'm gonna get close up on your face. So that little clip there, just to get a little dialogue in there. I wrote this poker scene. Again, this is a gangster film with a bunch of under 25-year-old gangsters throwing together all of my friends to make a gangster movie for a short film. Very bold move. Not something I completely recommend doing at all. There's me, by the way, on the camera with the headphones on to listen. That's Sam wearing an eye patch. He got stabbed with a cigarette in the film before this. If you haven't seen, I do recommend to maybe watch A Vendetta's. If you're going to watch Sorrow's Grave, watch A Vendetta's Debt first, or you will have no idea what's going on. Sorrow's Grave tells the story of Marcellus, played by Adrian, who's in the bottom left there, and now to the left of me working the camera. And it's his story that he is a gangster, and big spoiler warning for A Vendetta's Debt is a lot of his teammates die, or his friends die. So he has to bury their own graves. It's so emotional. It's so sad. It's an 18-minute short. Right now I'm explaining to them how this is going to go. I had the biggest breakdown of my life. Well, that's very dramatic, but the biggest breakdown I've ever had while filming something was here. While I was filming this, I was literally about to give up. I kept telling myself, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna not do this. Well, I didn't tell myself that, but I was sitting down. I remember, let me paint this picture for you. I'm sitting down. We are over schedule. We are 3 hours in. We just did all the shots outside. I've really started to drift from this story, and I usually have a pretty good tell if something will be not necessarily good, but if I'll be putting effort into it. And I did not feel that at all doing this film. Well, I did. There were certain moments I loved it, but at this point, we've already done multiple reshoots. This was, for the behind-the-scenes vlog purposes, so you're not confused, this is the first of Sorrow's Grave, but this is technically, I think this was one of the last days. So this was filmed a year ago, or like 10 months ago. So this film's already out, obviously. If you don't know, for this channel, I'm going back and just documenting all of the behind the scenes so I can get caught up with where we're currently at. So if that was confusing. But the angles I was working, there was no camera movement here. I didn't move the camera. It was locked on a tripod. Look at, so, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing to talk about, but this is a documentation, not content creation. Shout out Sam SB. If you don't get what I just said there, that's because you're not SB, and that's okay. Right here, I'm choreographing an action scene, and that's my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend, Eleanor, reacting like that in the pink dress. I think she was mocking me, or maybe she was being real. I don't know what I'm even describing here, because it's so embarrassing that we were trying to stage that Marcellus is now, which is Adrian, punching Bryce, who's actually my friend. We played basketball together. All these guys are my friends, but Bryce and I played basketball together, and I was like, you know what, you'd be a great actor. And he was the one that killed some of Adrian's goons. So I'm like, you know what, you should punch him in the seat. It's a mess. You'll see. I'm going to play a little snippet coming up at the very end of this scene. But overall, this was a learning lesson, to say the least. Something I did learn, though, is there's a scene in Raging Bull, their fight scene, and where you see all of the sound go away. So right there, I'm having them react. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. This was shot on a 35mm lens, a Sigma lens, which I love, but it's a photo lens, so it doesn't have a ton of characteristics. The table set, everything about this day was just so we were shooting this in a church clubhouse. Just adding, that was like the only place we could really figure. It's just like, so much is going on. There's so much pressure. None of these people, it's not realistic at all. All of these things that I'm fighting against me here, combined with the fact that I'm not using good storytelling devices in my cinematography. Like, I'm not moving the camera. They're not composed in the right way. There's a lot of stuff going on. And having extras on set with that when you don't know what's going on. Okay, so right there, this is a cool, I know I'm jumping around, sorry, is I have Sam, they're basically going against each other, fake punching him, so we put the pillow there. Sam's just beating on this pillow, then we had some fake blood, which you'll see come up here in a second. And this is the most fun to film. This is what I was talking about, Raging Bull, is the sound kind of goes away. So there's the blood from him getting punched in the face. But the whole goal is to make it look like just action. I needed some action, because this whole film is just so depressing. And it just felt like the whole time, like so that is where I was at my ultimate depression point, is at this point where I'm sitting on the ground, basically no longer wanting to do this film whatsoever. And it was really hard to get past this point mentally, because I was like, I'm so done. I cannot do this. I'm just sitting here staring at my camera. We still had more script to go. Adrian's falling. I just noticed that till now, but Adrian is absolutely taking the fall. Something about Adrian is he is the true fall guy, which is great. He puts his heart into it. And everyone here did a great job, did everything I asked, showing him what it looks like. That's Eleanor, who is our makeup professional, putting fake blood. That's Adrian eating a Jimmy John's sandwich because he hadn't eaten up until that point. And I remember him telling me that he felt sick after eating, like he felt sick up until that point because he hasn't eaten in so long, so I felt so bad. We were just trying to figure out the best way to do this. I was actually saved by Eleanor during this shoot because she was like, Luke, it's okay. Calm. Everything will be fine. Just keep pushing through. So props to you, Eleanor. You saved me that day. I love this photo. Adrian's fist being bloody. That's a cool behind the scenes. And then here is the final where we were working. So it's right next to like this printing press where we shot. This back area. This is where in A Vendetta's Debt, this is the poker room. So they're always talking about playing poker in A Vendetta's Debt, which is the prequel. Yeah, a prequel to a short film, which is the prequel to Sorrow's Grave, which is this film, the behind the scenes. So this behind the scenes is really to learn what not to do. There's a lot of things that just weren't really done to the best here, but it was bold and I did learn, and you're supposed to learn from failure. Adrian at this point was done. I was done. We were just trying to push through.
He gave me this.
Okay, so here is just a little sneak peek to Sorrow's Grave. I do think you should watch it almost just to like take in the full LukeRing experience.
You don't work for that psycho anymore. He gave me this. Let me get this straight. You went to the church. He thinks it's these two. You turned around and blew his brains out, then dug some holes? You buried 4 guys in one night.
Alright, hotshot.
Relax. Finish this game and we'll talk about your little charm.
Okay, so I need to clarify. That is the final, that is like a rough, I kind of cut together these end scenes just to show you kind of a basic of what, and it does look pretty visually appealing if you don't know that the light is just so not motivated or directed really. There's some cool frames for sure in there. But a lot to learn, a lot to take away from this of like, okay, this is really bold. This is everyone that was there that night. Thank you to all these people. These people are all amazing. All the faults of this movie being my worst movie was me. This was too bold of something to do. But again, if you're not bold, you're not taking those risks, and you're not really gonna, if you don't take risks, I don't think you can really reach success without failing. So this is definitely overall probably something that I failed at, take a 1 step back, 2 steps forward type of thing. Thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. Make sure to comment, like, and stay tuned because there's new vlogs, hopefully every week or with every new movie. I'd love to hear what you think of Sarah's Grave. I don't expect a lot. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.